just a good chat session and see what's the latest in technologies. So let's get started. Our first stop is with John Rutkowitz with FINISHLINE, the FINISHLINE deburring and finishing machine with Mid-Atlantic Global. John's going to show us how to produce the finest parts coming off of the machine that may have come off of your laser, your plasma machine, your water jet. He's going to show us how to automate the process and eliminate secondary processes such as manual deburring. So let's get started. John, take it away.
Hello, my name is John Rutkowitz. I'm with Mid-Atlantic Global. Thank you very much for spending your late morning with us. We're very excited to highlight FINISHLINE. FINISHLINE is a very powerful, very flexible, and incredibly intuitive machine that, as Kevin mentioned, it is an all-in-one solution. And a relatively small footprint, we offer the flexibility of different configurations, different media. It handles parts coming from any cutting source. During the webinar, we are going to showcase items such as the working units, the controls, the different options for conveyor tables, the impressive tool of the automated part thickness measurement tool. Again, very powerful, very accessible, very intuitive. It just provides a solution for you to think about your secondary processes so much differently. FINISHLINE is a family of automated metal finishing machines designed and built specifically to offer an all-in-one solution to metal finishing. Each FINISHLINE machine is built on a heavy-duty framework and is comprised of high-quality components such as Siemens motors and Schneider Electrics. Machines can be built specifically for your current needs, but will remain flexible to be able to handle future demands. FINISHLINE machines are offered in a range of widths, 25.5, 43, and 51 inches, and offer a variety of functionality all within one framework. Deburring, edge rounding, oxide removal, deslagging, and graining can all be achieved within one machine. The automated flow of FINISHLINE allows us the opportunity to take a look at secondary processes differently. Manual process of deburring and metal finishing requires a labor-intensive activity. It lacks consistency and it lacks efficiency. The automated process of FINISHLINE directly contributes to the operational efficiencies, improved part quality, increased throughput, and also adds additional capabilities. As an example, following an installation for a FINISHLINE customer, the customer stated that if the process would have been done manually, it would have required a 10-person crew, a full shift, to match the results of FINISHLINE. Abrasive belt, top brush, abrasive belt. But each working unit is actually configured to do a different function. The first unit, abrasive belt, is set up for deburring. The contact roller is actually a harder contact roller, so it's 65 to 70 Shore, and it's currently outfitted with 120 grit paper, which does a great job in removing the primary burrs. Any primary burr that is not knocked over and possibly is a lateral burr will be taken care of with the next working unit, which is a top brush. So that does a great job of removing any of the lateral burrs and also does a fantastic job on the edges, to round those edges. This particular machine right now has edge rounding brushes on the second head and actually has wire brushes for oxide removal. So again, that demonstrates the flexibility of this machine, edge rounding and oxide removal set up in one machine. And all of the working units are individually controlled. You can have one working unit on, two, or all four. The last working unit is actually set up for graining. It has a softer contact roller, so it's about a 35 Shore, and it's outfitted with 180 grit paper, which does a really nice job in providing the grain. What's nice about this machine as well is that your current needs might be deburring and edge rounding. But what this machine does is it offers you the ability to take advantage of this fourth head. A number of customers have stated that they didn't really realize the benefit of graining until they actually got the machine into their shop and they were able to run that particular unit to provide their own grain versus sourcing it. So again, it's incredibly flexible in the number of working units, all individually controlled. And again, the flexibility of the top brush units are evidenced in their particular media. Right now, there's brushes on there which are brown for steel. This particular brush is gray with 120 grit, which is well suited for aluminum. So the different types of brushes have different grits. This is actually a 60 grit, and a more coarse material of the Scotch-Brite material that is in between the abrasive. So it has to do with the consistency of the Scotch-Brite material and also the grit of the paper to give you the level of touch to your part and specific material. Again, the gray is perfectly suited for aluminum. This particular green brush is well suited for stainless steel due to the consistency of the Scotch-Brite and also the grit of the paper. What this brush does is a fantastic job of getting in between the smaller perforations in a part because it is flexible enough to do that. This particular brush here is a gold edition. It's a more stiff of a consistency of the Scotch-Brite material, and it's a more aggressive grit. This does a great job of a more aggressive touch for edge rounding. So it won't be as effective for the smaller perforations, but it does a fantastic job on the outer edges in providing that functionality. We have a head here, which is actually well suited for deslagging. It's in a very aggressive contact with the dross that is on the part. It does a great job. And again, the flexibility of this machine, you can design the configuration and the sequence of this machine to match. If you have deslagging need, you could put a top brush unit first, follow it up with an abrasive belt for deburring, then another top brush for edge rounding, and an abrasive belt for graining as well. So again, tremendous amount of flexibility. Even if you don't have the sequence in that appropriate order, you still can outfit either of these top brush units with the deslagging cleats and take care of that dross. So again, tremendous amount of flexibility with the individual controls. And that's what I'd like to discuss now. We'll now take a look at the intuitive touchscreen control, which operates all of the working units within FINISHLINE. All the working units within FINISHLINE are controlled by this very intuitive touchscreen control. As you look at the working units front to back, you go left to right on the touchscreen. All icon based. The very first icon is the conveyor table. The next one is the abrasive belt for the first working unit. Then you have top brush, abrasive belt. So again, this is your deburring, edge rounding, currently outfitted with oxide removal, and this is for graining. So red indicates that they're all off. Just a simple one touch to the icon to turn it green to activate the machine. Again, each unit is individually controlled. You can have 1, 2, or all 4 working units on at one point in time. And you are offered controls here in terms of part contact. What you see here is everything is in the parked position. Red indicates up and away from the part, and this is parked as well. So after you turn the working unit on, you would actually drop the working unit to make contact with the part. Very intuitive, easily controlled, very flexible, and yet very powerful. So with here as well, you are indicating what your part thickness is. The FINISHLINE machine is outfitted with an automated part measurement tool, and I'll show you how that works right now. So over on the right-hand side of the machine, the caliper icon, you simply take your part, place it under the tool, go back to the touch screen, toggle over to this section of the controls and the caliper icon again. Simply press that once, and what occurs is that the table will raise to the point where the top surface of the part hits the limit switch, stops, and automatically calibrates the machine to the exact part thickness. Takes any potential error out for incorrect use of the calipers and possibly entering in the data incorrectly into the machine. So it's automatically calibrated by use of the automated part measurement tool. In addition, this particular control panel is on a swivel control. So what that does, it gives you the ability to swivel the control panel over to the side and can still control the machine as you're watching part progress through the machine through these standard clear access doors. Fantastic to have the control where you need it. The machine, this particular machine is outfitted with a vacuum table conveyor. You can see by the perforations on the belt. What that does, again, depending upon the amount of perforations within the part, you should be able to hold a 4-inch by 4-inch part on the conveyor table. Options also exist for a magnetic table, which gives you the ability to operate with a 2-inch by 2-inch part. There's even a combination table that is split, magnetic, and also vacuum. So again, a lot of functionality, a lot of beneficial features, and chance for to remove any potential error by use of the automated part measurement tool. In addition, any parameters that you set up for parts, you can save as a recipe. You can save that as a program within this machine, up to 250 different programs. And that's fantastic as well if you have particular jobs or part thickness that you want to store. You can create all those parameters and immediately call them up error-free to begin operation on your next day. Regardless of your cutting source, whether it be a laser, water jet, or plasma cutter, FINISHLINE can easily handle the part. I'd like to demonstrate again the standard feature of the see-through door and also the standard feature of the roll-on sliding tray. Provides ease of access to all the brushes, even the ones located in the farthest position, so there's no need to reach into the machine. This particular machine is also outfitted with an optional feature, which is the quick release adapter for the brushes. Place the pin, prevents the brushes from rotating, quarter turn one direction, quarter turn in the opposite direction to replace. Quick and easy, tremendous time savings. Time is money. Okay, we are now going to run this part. First step, place it under the auto part thickness measurement tool. Hit the caliper icon. Table is raising to the position where the top surface of the part hits the limit switch. Automatically enters the part thickness into the machine. We are going to change the feed speed of the conveyor table to 10. You have a range of 1.6 to 33. We'll leave the abrasive belt surface feet per minute to 1,500, but you do have a range of 1,400 to 3,550 surface feet per minute. We'll leave the RPMs at 800. But again, there's a range of 460 to 1,500 RPM. Next step, turn the conveyor table on, turn the abrasive belt on, drop it into position, turn the brushes on, and we're going to set the immersion 28 back. We're also going to grain. So we'll turn on the 4th working unit and drop that into position. I have a part here that was successfully run through FINISHLINE. We actually used 3 applications. We first deburred, we used the edge rounding capability, and also the graining. We did all 3 of those applications in one single pass. Again, FINISHLINE, it's offered in variable widths, 25.5, 43, 51, different configurations that can be built to your current needs, and again, flexible enough to handle any future demands that might come down the road for you. Now we'd like to open this up for some questions and answers.
Hey, John, we have a question from a customer. How long does it take for a new operator to learn to use?
It's an incredibly powerful machine, but it's also very intuitive. With the bright touchscreen control, it's all icon-based, so each working unit is represented by an easily identified icon. As you look at the machine front to back, the touchscreen will be left to right. It really takes a session of about maybe an hour and a half to grow comfortable with operating the machine. What we also do is that we offer a sheet of recommended parameters for using different materials, applying different applications, whether it be deburring, edge rounding, removal of oxide, deslagging, and graining. So we're there for you to get you started with the different parameter settings. Again, it's a very intuitive machine, very easily picked up, and it's a quick learn.
Okay, our next question here is, can Scotch-Brite belts be used?
Absolutely. With the abrasive belt, the R unit that we call it, you can use variable widths, 80 grit all the way to 400 grit belts. Scotch-Brite material is also accepted. There's a fantastic option as well called the motorized lift of the R, which accounts for the thickness of the belt or the Scotch-Brite, and you can control that via the touchscreen.
All right, thanks, John. What is the minimum and maximum part thickness that can be processed?
FINISHLINE can handle parts 20 thou all the way up to 6 inches. It has a wide throat to accept parts. The benefit of the up to 6 inches as well, if you have very small parts that need some type of fixturing, that additional height will account for the fixturing in addition to the part. So again, 20 thou to 6 inches.
All right, next question. Are there any options that are machine size specific, as either conveyor or number of brushes?
FINISHLINE is offered 25.5 to 51, and depending upon the number of applications or heads that you have, will then give you a different length of what FINISHLINE is. So again, a very popular machine is the 4-head configuration at 43 inches wide, which again has a relatively small footprint, but if you were to go with a 25.5-inch wide machine with the 2-head, that full footprint would shrink down to that appropriate size as well. So with the different number of applications and the choice of width, working width of the machine, that changes what the footprint of the FINISHLINE machine would be.
Okay, what is the approximate price for the 25.5-inch wide machine?
Ballpark pricing, 25.5-inch wide. What we really need to know to be specific in cost as well in terms of what the working units are. Is it a 1-head machine? Is it a 4-head machine? And that varies as well with the different working units. So a ballpark price for, say, 2-head, 43-inch wide, I understand it was a 25.5-inch question, that would be that's just a little under 100,000. So roughly the same for 25.5, a little bit less. And again, dependent upon the choice of the working unit selected for the FINISHLINE machine.
Okay, John, we have a question here. What types of graining finishes can be expected?
You can achieve a number 4 finish with graining. The first belt, again, is typically we recommend 120 grit that does a fantastic job for deburring. The last working unit on a 4-head machine is your grain. So it's outfitted with a softer contact roller, 35 Shore, and 180 to a higher grit as well, to achieve whatever the desired finish is on your part. So it's easily dialed in. You can change the settings, change the media to be able to successfully achieve the finish that you're looking for.
All right, John, and it looks like this might be the last question here. Can the machine finish multiple parts at the same time?
Absolutely. You can take advantage of the full width of the machine. You can apply multiple parts. You can run them in series and also parallel. Taking advantage of the full working width, which also takes advantage of the abrasive belt and all the brushes. Again, for an example, the 43-inch wide machine has a top brush unit that has 10 brushes, 2 rows of 5, and they're staggered in position. There are no dead spots, so feel free to place your parts anywhere on the working belt, and the media will make appropriate contact with the parts.
Thank you. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for questions today. If we did not get to your question, feel free to sign up for a one-on-one session in the link that will be provided in the chat after this session. Stay tuned for our next with UR 7036 press brake package at 10:30. We'll see you there.